Today we're going to talk about the consumer behavior principle of mental accounting. And specifically, we're going to talk about how consumers are not very good at calculating value from things that are a little bit more intangible. And it's going to form the basis of how you story tell. So if you are selling a product and you only focus on the features of something, it's a binary choice. You're telling them what they want and you're letting them assign their own value to it based on what you input. But when you sell and when you market and you express different theories and ideas and you present options in which it's focused on the emotional aspect and components of that consumer, they can assign their own value. And if they are assigning their own value, people tend to lean towards the positive nature of how they can use something when they're able to fill in the blanks. So if you write your content, if you create your sales copy, if you design an experience in which it's focused around the value that the consumer is going to be placing on something from an emotional standpoint, the consumer is more likely, they have a habit and tendency and the propensity for someone to actually fill in their positive experience and input their positive experiences in those blanks, that there's a much higher chance that that's going to happen. And when they do that, they are essentially driving up the value of your product. They don't need to be sold because they just did the selling for themselves. Internally, humans are not very good at breaking apart what's valuable and what's not when it is emotional. So what they do is they tend to veer towards the positive emotions, in which, no one's like to sit around and think about negative emotions when it's about themselves. So if you can create experiences in which it's focused around them filling in their own emotional aspects, their emotional experiences, you're going to have a much higher chance of signaling value. And the way you do that is you make sure that when you are selling, when you are whatever you're talking about, that you leave room for an emotional story, some storytelling. And if you open up your copy, if you write your blog, if you design an experience in which it's all about the features and not necessarily about the experience, well, then you're going to have a hard time executing on this. So let me know what you guys think. This is another episode of Consumer Behavior Tactics and Insights. I'm your host, Nick Williams. Thanks for checking us out.